beautifuls, this is Aromie here and welcome back to Seduce Me 2. We are here. I think we're in the middle of a love-making session and I just abruptly stopped it last episode. Such a cockblock. Anyway, we are back. It wasn't long before James and I won't... Oh, I think I already read that part. Okay. I can't help but let myself grind over the hardening length in his boxer briefs. My own core lighting and desire for him, and slightly craving to just ravish and ride. However, James' hands drifted along my body, making me submissive to his touch and guidance. I was left to moon and mew as his fingers dragged themselves over me and eventually teasing me beneath my clothes. The wild moons that wanted to erupt from me and at his stroke filled my head with a lustful haze as James began to enthrall me and kiss hard over my shoulder. I began to bite my lip, trying to control them.
Don't hold it in.
Oh. Okay. As if to emphasize his command, he began to remove our last articles of clothing, turning me around in his arms and pinning me against the bedpost. I had to run my legs around him to keep myself up as he pressed my hips against the wood of the bed. I looked deep into James' eyes, becoming lost in them as I finally let go, feeling him take me at last and letting the pleasure ripple through I wouldn't say through the water, through my body in waves. My arms, I don't know why that's capitalized. Arms wrapped themselves around his neck as he pressed me against the wall and began to drive into me in a loving, hard fervor. My energy was slowly draining, but I didn't care. My mind was becoming a mess, but I didn't care. All I gave a damn about at that point in time was James and I holding each other and riding through the immense pleasure between us. James knew everything about me. How to make me melt, how to make me keen. He loved to use everything in his power to make me feel absolutely loved and amazing, while I did my best to make him feel the same. Even as the end began to crash through us, our eyes spoke volumes of our deep passion and love for each other. Well, hello, where'd this accent come from? My heart pounded wildly for James, and I dared to claim him as mine. He was completely and utterly mine, as I was completely and utterly his. Joyful tears oh, my eyes went blurry for some reason. Oh God, hello. Yeah, like... Okay, that was weird. Joyful tears gently dripped down my eyes from the feelings bursting in my heart, but I gripped James close, desperate not to let go. He did the same, pressing his lips to mine and capturing every loving sound I made for him. I lost count of how many times we let ourselves go. I became absorbed in his kisses, his touches on my body, our love, that I was barely awake by the time it all ended, with his arms around me. His breathing became my guide, and his body was my solace. I hope I said that correctly. My hands gripped to him as my body naturally cuddled close to him, taking in his warmth. A small chuckle echoed from him as James petted my hair.
I love you so much.
I love you too, James. I will never let you go. We would survive. We will be okay. I felt safe in James' arms, and I'm sure he felt safe in mine. We would return to the human world and be okay. Tomorrow will decide everything. Here we are.
When you get...
Alright, we're not nervous. I would be lying if I said I wasn't. James smiled and held my hand tightly before bringing it up and kissing over.
No matter what happens, we will end this, and you will see the human world again. You have my word.
No. Alright. We already know about this.
We have faith in...
Kick his dead body.
We'll be right. We'll finish.
We'll win.
You can do this.
Like, we already read all that before.
Whoa! Are you okay?
Hey, they never patched him up. I looked up to see James staring down at me with a deeply concerned gaze. We were safe for the moment, so I merely smiled up at him with a nod. I'm fine. I promise to protect you like you protect me. James let out a small laugh, kissing my forehead and hugging me to him.
That you did. I'm so proud to call you mine.
I hugged him back, feeling relieved that we had finally arrived at the castle and were about to rush inside. As we slowly pulled away, James lifted me up and helped me to my feet.
Will you be alright?
Yeah, no worries. I nodded, shaking off the exhaustion from my mind. I was ready to end this. I looked up at the castle gates and felt a rush of determination run through me. Let's finish this. With that, James and I rushed forward into the castle. The final battle had begun. Oh, I thought I could skip for some reason, but then I realized I never made it this far. The ringing sound of clashing swords greeted me and James as we sprinted into the castle and towards the main hall. James placed a hand in front of me as I as they spotted the battle waging at the foot of the throne dais? I don't think it's dais. Diana and the demon lord slammed their swords against each other and over and over in violent repetition, with Diana leveled at her tall opponent in flight. Just from the force behind their swings, you would think that their swords would break and bend. The sound of their steel, however, could not cover the snarls that erupted from each of them as they pressed against the clash between them.
It's over, you brute bastard! We'll see about that!
With a heavy grunt, the demon lord pushed his sword forward with a pulse of red energy, causing Diana to fly back and slam into the pillar with a painful thud.
Ah!
Diana crumpled to the ground, her wings instinctively folding in against her back from the impact. However, it only took a second for her to recover and look up with a rejuvenated glare. Vaulting off the ground, Diana flew at the demon lord once more and slammed her sword into his. A large burst of purple flames erupting from between their weapons.
I will send you to hell where you belong!
James and I watched in silence as Diana and the demon lord danced their deadly duel, not wanting to get in their way of either of their rage. After all, James was merely a backup and Diana seemed fine so far. For some reason, however, as I stared at Diana, something about her hits looked almost effortless, like something was guiding her sword to land each strike. Was she that skilled in combat? After a flurry of deadlocks, Diana finally managed to swing her sword at an angle, slicing the back of the demon lord's hand and making him drop his weapon.
You!
The demon lord quickly stepped back and reared his other hand back, forming a large red orb in his hand. However, as soon as he thrust it forward, it began to dissolve and dissipate in the air, vanishing completely before it reached Diana's body.
What?
Diana stared in shock at the occurrence, taking in that his attack didn't hit her, before she slowly grew a spark on her face and a golden glow over her blood-red iris.
Looks like you're all out of energy.
With another angry growl, the demon lord repeated his action, only to stare in disbelief as it evaporated into the air. It was large enough when in his hand, yet it vanished all too quickly. Something was wrong. Diana didn't seem to care. She lifted her hand back behind her and formed a large purple orb in her palm before shooting it forward. The orb slammed into the demon lord's chest and pushed him back against the pillar harshly, forming large cracks in the stone at the impact.
It's over!
With her battle cry, Diana gripped onto her saber with both hands and flew forward, charging to skewer the demon lord through the chest. As she began to fly forward, I gasped at the sight of white feathers slowly painting over Diana's demonic wings. Angels were here. Wait, what? Diana wasn't listening. Her eyes became completely glossed over in a gold color as a strange white glow began emanating from her like a holy light and guided her forward towards her intended victim. With a mere blink, Diana had run her saber through the demon lord's chest, piercing through his heart and impaling him against the pillar. James and I could do nothing but stare in shock at what Diana had done and what was happening to the succubus in question. Her body let off almost an ethereal white glow as she snarled into the demon lord's face.
May Satan take you and tear you apart in the pits of hell.
My body shuddered in fear at the sound of her voice, while she naturally had some sort of demonic resonance. As she spoke, something else was laced into her voice, giving it almost a celestial lift and tone. The demon lord's eyes glazed over and soon lost their light as he ever so slowly went limp over the blade embedded within him, blood slowly dripping from his mouth and onto Diana's forearms. Diana, however, released the handle of her blade and glided back, shaking her arms to rid them of the demon lord's blood. Despite what I normally expected from Diana, the succubus didn't seem to care that her mortal enemy had fallen at last. She didn't even seem to care that her wings had become angelic and covered in beautiful white feathers. If it wasn't for her tainted demon skin and horns, I would imagine Diana at the moment to be confused as the angel I imagined from the human world. The reality of the situation, however, was apparent. Something was wrong with Diana.
It is done. It is over.
I looked at James, seeing his cautious but deadly glare burn itself onto Diana's form as she looked up at him, eyes still glazed over in a gold glow.
It isn't truly over, is it?
Diana stared at the pair of us for a moment before lowering herself onto her feet on the floor and letting her new angelic wings fold against her back patiently. With an almost sickeningly sweet smile, Diana lifted her hand towards James and beckoned to him.
You are correct. You must take your throne, Restrau.
My anger flared at the sound of his true name escaping her lips, but my soul began to quiver in fear. Diana was being controlled by angels, and now she seemed to be an instrument for James' destiny. James, however, remained at my side, glaring hard at Diana, still with a hand across my body in protection.
You do not have permission to use my name with such familiarity.
And why do you say that? I am the queen of the demon world now, and you are my betrothed.
Diana ran her hands through her hair and over her horns, dragging them down her neck and over each curve on her upper body seductively. This was definitely not Diana.
My mind, body, and soul are completely yours, as is the domination of this world. I share these pleasures and power with you, with the purest love from the bottom of my heart, as your true, universally intended bride.
She sounds like a robot. James reached his hand back and took my hand, knowing that her words were digging into my mind with edges of betrayal and annoyance. I knew James wouldn't accept her, but I also knew that this was not Diana, so who knew what the angel controlling her would do next? Diana tilted her head to the side, slowly lowering herself onto her knees and stretching her arms by her sides, baring herself to us.
Unless you desire me to be your slave, I will happily give you the throne and eternally serve you until the end of time.
Enough! Release her and reveal yourself, Seraph!
I gripped James' hand, staring wide-eyed at Diana as she simply chuckled and guided her hands together, pressing her palms between her breasts and leaning back to stare at the high marble ceiling.
This child of Lilith is offering herself to you, demon, yet you refuse to take it.
You know my answer.
It is a foolish answer. This demoness can become a vessel of power for you, the mother of your lineage. What more can you desire that the human can hope to provide?
True love? Duh. This time I had to interject. This was wrong and underhanded, and whatever spell Diana was under gripped her tightly enough to become some sort of twisted, submissive James, and no part of me appreciated it. This angel was some sort of sick and twisted being that needed to be stopped somehow. James finally stepped forward, forming a sword in his hand and staring down at it in serious thought.
An angel like you can never understand the desires I hold.
That is because your desires are misplaced. You know deep in your heart that you desire to rule over this world. Your demonic blood craves the power.
I watched James gaze deep into the steel of his blade, locking eyes with himself. Still, he continued to speak.
It is true that some part of me wishes to rule this world. Some darker, unfeeling shadow of the past that was raised to live and become the ultimate lord of this plane.
As James gripped the handle of his sword up tightly, he shifted his gaze to Diana's body.
My heart knows where it belongs. With the human who loves me as I love her!
My heart fluttered in my chest at James' words, feeling every ounce of passion and determination embedded with each sound. Diana, however, let out a dark laugh.
Love, how fleeting. Your defiance comes from such a weak emotion.
Isn't any emotion that a demon has very powerful? That's what I learned. As Diana finally straightened back up, I stepped back from the side of her eyes. Instead of black pupils, her golden eyes held two dark crosses burning within her lost irises. The smirk on her face intensified, almost like a Cheshire cat's sickening grin.
Allow me to show you a power greater than love!
With a hard flap of her wings, Diana jutted forth, forming another saber in her hand and arching it across James. Her target countered in reply, clashing his sword to hers with a heavy clang. I instantly jumped back away from the fight as James and Diana began to clang swords again and again. James' face showed his pure concentration as Diana's cackled in both an insane glee and obsessive desire.
Fight however you like! You cannot escape your destiny!
I will, and you will not stop me!
The speed of their clashes increased. The rapid sounds of steel beating steel. Gosh, can't read. Crashed through the air like a wave of violent drums. They were equally matched, and neither seemed to be close to giving in. How long would this fight go for? I knew Diana was probably exhausted from the fight, but the angel was working through her, so there was a chance that her exhaustion wouldn't matter. Then again, James had not lifted a finger yet in this war, so he had energy to spare. The entire situation became full of confusion and concern as James and Diana continued to duel without hesitation or need for air. As James took a heavy swing towards Diana, the succubus leaped back and sank gracefully on her feet, using her wings to ease her descent and stance while she licked her lips.
Love is a fleeting game. Those who expect it to bring happiness will only experience sorrow in the end.
Oh, really? Well, that's where we're gonna stop today, since I technically got off work and came home to record this to upload it today. So thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.